topic of this hour, it is Brisca Formula 2 stock car time, the nation's most popular form of open-wheel motorsport, contact open-wheel motorsport, and that... Unfortunately, they weren't booked, my friend. Anyway, one who is going to delight the stage, let's make some noise then for the man that won the Brisca Formula 2 Stock Car National Points Championship. He won it winning more points than any other driver. Let's make some noise for Gordon Moody! And he's going to be represented with his... stay standard, Gordon. You're going to be represented with your trophy, if we can get that on. Oh, well, we'll have a brief word in any case. So, brief word with you, Gordon, as we look into this camera over the best laid plans and all of that. So, Gordon, it's obviously a very, very good season. You've won more points than any other driver. So, looking back on 2011 as a good one?
Yeah, it was a good year for us, and it's really, you win the national points. It's not just down to me driving the car, it's thanks to everybody that helps throughout the year, whether that be friends, family, just anybody that can give me support, because you could never do it on your own.
So really, obviously you got the national points, but was there any real sort of, you came after having ultimate disappointment in the world final for the previous 2 years when you failed to get past the first corner through no fault of your own, but that's stock car racing, isn't it? But you came so close to getting the world title last year.
Yeah, we came close, and when you're just going round there and you're just keeping the wheels on it, you just think, we've got this one in the bag, but stock car racing just changes on an instant, and unfortunately it wasn't my day, but I couldn't have went to a better racer than Mark Simpson.
Obviously we're going to be talking in a moment or two about the this year's world final at the Barford Raceway up in the northeast of England, one of your more closer tracks, and also over the years one of your more successful tracks. So do you feel a little bit more confident towards this year's world final?
Not a case of feeling more confident, but obviously we race there regular, so if we can't get the car to go round there, there's going to be a problem. But sometimes it just depends on what the other drivers have in their mind and whether they're going to let you get away.
And obviously you're referring really to, I suppose, the first two corners of the world final in 2009 and 2010, which I suppose, as we just alluded to, is stock car racing. So really looking forward to this season. Obviously you've got a few some very nice new cars from guys who are probably going to be your nearest opponents on track this year. What are your plans car-wise this year? Have you got a new car in the pipeline?
Yeah, we're going to have 2 new cars this year, so I feel pretty confident with the background and the pedigree of the chassis that I'm running, so hopefully we'll be able to compete with some of these new cars that's coming out, and it's only good for the sport that we've got competition, you know, that's what keeps everybody striving to go forward and continue to get the things to go faster.
Obviously you've used the RCE chassis, of which there's a nice new one over on their own stand over in the corner of the show. Are you sticking with the RCE chassis, or it's going to be chassis, isn't it, if it is those for the 2 cars this year?
Yeah, we'll be sticking up there, you know, we'd be crazy to go away from that, and we're really happy with that, along with the SRD engine that we're on.
And you've obviously won the national points. Is it your aim to go for the national points again this year?
Of course it is.
There we are. So talking of the national points, we have now got the trophy ready so we can represent it to Gordon Moody, the national points champion in Brisca Formula 2 stock cars for 2011. How many times is it, just as we bring them, how many times is it now that you've actually won this trophy?
Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. So number 7 with his 7 times national points champion for Gordon Moody in number 7. Of course, Gordon has been taking part in the live action arena throughout all 4 days of the show, racing in the England versus Scotland. Yesterday evening it was every man for himself. It did get quite lively as well, so we thank you for that. Keep hold of the trophy, Gordon. And of course you are going to be competing at 4:45 in the live action arena again this afternoon. Now we're going to introduce Paul Brown onto the stage from Brisca Formula 2 and 4FS Marketing and the Brisca Partners. Now here's Paul in the corporate Brisca F2 pink for this year. So is there any specific reason why we've gone pink?
Different colour every year, so orange last year, pink this year. What happens next year?
Only the mind boggles on that one, really does. Now, you're here to do the Brisca Partners draw, or Gordon's going to conduct it on your behalf. Just tell us briefly what the Brisca Partners is all about.
Basically, companies pay a small fee to go in the rule book and the fixture list on their partners banner across there. and they're all going to draw first out of the hat as the national point sponsor, second Novice of the Year sponsor.
Okay, so we will now conduct that draw. So lid off, and in Gordon's trophy is all of these Brisca Formula 2 partners. And this is the national points. So Remus Publishing are going to be the sponsors of this year's national points. Remus Publishing, they are the publishers, or the printers actually, of the Sports Home magazine, Unloaded 7.3. And the Novice of the Year is going to be sponsored by Automotive One UK Limited. So the Novice of the Year, of course, we had Jack Aldridge on stage yesterday afternoon at this time when he got represented with his Novice of the Year trophy. That's for the driver who wins the most number of national points in their first season in the sport. So Remus Publishing, they will sponsor the National Points Championship for 2012, and it's Automotive One UK Limited will sponsor the Novice of the Year. But for now, it is a very warm welcome back to Gordon Moody, and thank you for his time. National Points Champion, let's hear it again for Gordon Moody. And we thank Paul as well. It simply does not come any more dramatic than that, winning a world final in that style. So let's welcome onto the stage. Let's make some more noise for the 2011 Brisca Formula 2 stock car champion of the world. It's Mark Simpson. Hello. So Mark, you've got the magic lolly, which is good. Yeah. So really, where do we start on that one? That really was dramatic stuff. For a start, you woke up that morning not even knowing that you were actually going to be in the world final itself.
That is so true, yeah.
So you went through the last chance consolation race, and no driver had ever actually done that, where they've gone through the last chance consolation and won the race.
So I was told, yes.
So really, with the weather like that, at what point in that race did you think this is going to be mine?
When the green flag dropped, you get a feel of the car, and like you think to yourself, it would be pretty good in wet conditions. I've raced in wet conditions on Shell before many times, and like you don't get a chance. What I liked about it, you don't get a chance to actually set the car up. You didn't get a chance to set the car up before the race because it was dry. It was dry. So the cars are all the same, you know what I mean? So you just got to drive it.
Yeah.
If you can drive it, you'll be fine.
So really, first of all, how could you see where you were going in those sort of conditions? Because, you know, it really looked like brown soup, really, with all due respect to Buster Chapman's track, really.
It was, but lucky enough, I learned from a man called Bert Finnegan, and he could actually see so much more without his goggles on than anyone else. So what you do, you take 2 pairs of goggles with you, you have a pair in your car, your goggles fill up, you take them off, and then hopefully yellow flags come out and you change your goggles.
And of course the yellow flags did come. That is where the race really, probably fair to say, slipped from Gordon Moody's grasp, and we just did allude to that, and maybe then fell more towards your grasp.
Yeah, I agree with you, it did, yes. To win a race, you've got to have luck on your side as well. You've got to be in the race, you've got to be able to drive it, but you do have to have a certain amount of luck. And I've had so much bad luck in my time, just for one year I had a bit of good luck, so. And
you say that in your time, you know, just tell everyone, for those who might not know or don't know, just how many world finals have you competed in up until last year?
Quite a few. I've had every place. I've had second, third, fourth, sixth.
So the full list. It was just the #1 spot that was missing, and that came your way. So really, when did you actually start racing in Formula 2 stock cars? He gulps.
Too long ago, yeah. About 1992, 93?
99. Yeah. So quite some time ago. So you are in the experienced category, so to speak. So really, you've got your year coming up as world champion. From what we can see, we've got one of your cars there,
yes,
and you've got another one further back into the show.
Yeah.
They're obviously the same, but different. So tell us about that one, and tell us about the one that's further back.
The car there is it's a new Shell car. We built it ourselves, me and my dad.
Right.
Just to get one in the show, like, and just to try and do the sport justice, basically. The new car up there is a tarmac car from Randall's, which I've raced with Randall's for years, since I started, and they're so good to me, so I just keep with them.
So really, with 2 new cars for your year as world champion, you are planning a busy year of racing?
Yes, we are planning a busy. We're going to try not let it affect us too much, yeah, but we're going to try and do the best we can for the sport.
And that is appearing as much as you can, which is really...
That is it, yeah.
Excellent stuff. So we're now going to represent Mark with his World Championship trophy. So you can see the trophy that has been around since 1963, when Roy Goodman, who still is very much a regular face around the raceways of Brisca, won it at Swindon. So there we are, we'll get Mark presented with the World Championship trophy.
Thank you.
And of course you can see Gordon as well, we just spoke to him, and Mark is in the live action arena as well, so if you've not got your tickets yet for the 6, sorry, no, that was yesterday, the 4:45 show, sorry, then they are still available, and you can see Mark in action in the live action arena, and of course you can see him up and down the country in the Brisca Formula 2 stock cars. Of course they have 25 tracks up and down the country, and 500 drivers as well. So there we are. We thank Mark for his time, but before he goes, let's hear it for one last time for the world champion in Formula 2 stock cars. It's Mark Simpson.
Thank you.
So thanks very much to Mark, and of course that does lead us in relatively nicely to this year's World Final. Of course, it does move around on a rota system. We had the Brisca Formula 2 stock car chairman Crispin Rosa there on the stage yesterday, who explained how it all works. It's not